everybody. What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to end up being a very special episode of Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins because I have never had a time where I accidentally sent out the studio link to everybody on the list. I meant to actually text out the link for people to watch, but the studio link is cool too. It's totally fine. I think that we can people will just come in and they'll just be backstage. So those of you who came in through the studio link, you are listening. You can hear us. I think you can hear us, but you'll be able to hear us from backstage as opposed to, oh, as opposed to, as opposed to listening to us from the channel. And I apologize for that. I totally messed that up. I've never done that before.
Can you send out the correct link?
I sent out the correct link that I sent to you. The link.
No, I mean, can you fix it and just say, use this link?
No, I don't know because I emailed 300,000 people. So we're gonna have some company today. It's all good. Let's just knock it out. All right. So Yoshika, how are you? I see you. Gwendolyn, good to see you. El Hodge, hello. Let's see who else is in here. Gary Hatcher, good to see you. And backstage, we actually have James and Claudette and Janma. And also, my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia, is here, and we have a podcast. This is called Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins, and our goal is to elevate conversations in the community. We are both scholars. My doctorate's in finance. My wife's doctorate is in social work, and she's a licensed therapist and a full professor and all these other stuff. So, babe, here's the topic I wanted to hit with you really quick because I wanted to get your thoughts on this as a therapist. I just read that the Surgeon General, and I don't even have the Surgeon General's name. I should know the Surgeon General's name. I knew the Surgeon General's name when they were black. The Surgeon General, Vivek H. Murthy, basically issued a call to action where he basically said regulators need to regulate social media the same way they regulate cigarettes and alcohol. He says that social media causes a lot of damage to young people. Monday, he called for placing tobacco-style warning labels on social media to alert users that the platforms can harm children's mental health, escalating his warnings about the effects of online services such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Writing in a New York Times opinion essay, he urged Congress to enact legislation requiring that social media platforms include a Surgeon General's warning to, quote, regularly remind parents and adolescents that social media has not been proven safe. He mentioned evidence of young people that spend a lot of time on social media are experiencing greater risk of anxiety and depression than many young people say. They say the platforms have worsened their body image. So I'd like to start there. You told me one time as a therapist, you told me that depression and anxiety tend to be connected. Do you want to start there in terms of letting me know what you think about what I just read?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's the depression and anxiety has to deal with the conversation you have with yourself in your head, your self-talk. It's, and depression, of course, is thinking about the past and being unhappy about it, and you ruminate on it. And it has an impact on your sleep, your eating, hard to concentrate. All of these things are related to depression. And anxiety is just worry about the future. And yeah, I mean, it's this whole FOMO, you fear of missing out. You see everybody on social media seemingly doing better than what you're doing. And you are also, connecting with a lot of that. And it really depends on your reference group, who you compare yourself to. So there's other people online who you look up to, and you're comparing your life to this quote unquote wonderful life, and you feel like you've left out, and then that feeds into the self-talk. So yeah, it totally makes sense. I'm really happy. Yes, our government and the people in charge are actually doing their job. So bravo to them.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I like it also, and I think it's almost like a lot of things where things come along and we think that they're healthy until we realize sometimes decades later that they're not. I don't know if anybody's ever seen those old TV ads where they would be like, doctors prefer to smoke our cigarettes over the other leading brands, and doctors recommend that that these cigarettes are healthy. And even pregnant women, they have pregnant women smoking, 50, 60 years ago. So it's almost like when something new comes along, there's so much that we have to learn. We'll either not know the dangers of it, or we'll exaggerate the dangers. Like electricity, I think they said 75% of all people that, when electricity was introduced, 75% of all people didn't want it in their house because they thought that it had evil spirits in it. So it's kind of this interesting thing. So you really think about social media, which I think we're still getting used to the effects. We're just now acknowledging the effects. Now you're moving into AI, which is going to be a whole nother learning curve. And we haven't even ever talked about quantum computing, which is actually the next revolution beyond AI. So in terms of clients that you've seen in your experience as a therapist, do you think, have you noticed social media impacting your clients in a particular way?
Above and beyond that, how social media impacts clients, I mean, it impacts all of us, right? Social media and being, I guess, like scrolling the internet and making these comparisons to yourself. I think, particularly with COVID, compared with COVID, and I think it always has had like an effect. I don't know what you mean by clients. Like I can't talk about anybody like in particular.
Not anybody in
I just
particular.
feel
I mean,
like,
just over like a big picture thing. I don't want you to.
I think the biggest, I don't know necessarily, but I think the biggest thing is that I do have a group of teenagers that I work with. And I do think that I'm seeing, like I talked about before, a lot of the self-talk having to do with younger groups, comparing themselves to these other groups during a time when you're trying to figure out who and what you are. And you're questioning. And it's just this image that's out there, and this worry about what other people are going to say about you. So I think that, like, if you post a picture or if you post a video, I think that it's the comments, that has an impact on whether people want to post that or not, or take it down, or this feeling of embarrassment and stress and worry over what I should post and how I should post it. That's what I'm finding with a lot of my teenage clients. Yeah, I mean, that's the majority of the pattern that I see. I mean, when I work with couples, I think that couples are comparing themselves to what they see on social media. One thing I have noticed, oh my God, boys, you know this, right? I complain about this all the time. Most of the advice you get about dating and relationships that you see on social media that gets all the attention is, I would say about 80% of it is terrible, and no one should be following this advice. Listen, I love anecdotes. You can talk about your experience in anecdotes, but a lot of the information, all men are this way, all women are this way. And it's this gender battle that I'm finding and coming out in my office. I'm like, who told you that all women were this way? Who told you that all men were this way? It almost is like a one-dimensional cartoon character of a relationship or of a potential mate. And I'm spending a lot of time in my office challenging a lot of people on where they get these thoughts from, how it colors the way they see the world and themselves. And I think that is the biggest thing. It's the garbage on the internet where it's like tearing each other down. And then you pigeonhole yourself into this kind of narrow way of thinking. And that to me is some of the things that I see and that I've noticed among people in their discussions about relationships.
Well, everybody, in case you just tuned in, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, Dr. Alicia. My doctor's in finance. Hers is in, social work. I know it's in social work, baby. I was going to get to that.
Okay.
And also, she's a licensed therapist as well. And so if you want to see what she does as a therapist, or I don't know, if you need a therapist, feel free to go to coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. And also you can follow her at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. So, all right. So let's, so everybody hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. So if you look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown on Spotify, you can find it there. And I want to welcome everybody who came in backstage. I accidentally sent out, there's a special link I have to send to the guests. And there's also a link you send for people to want to watch. I sent the guest link out to everybody in there. So if you're wondering, if you came in backstage and you're wondering, like, what is this? This is not normal. It's because
How many people are backstage?
There's a few. I should shout them out. I see Troy Williams the third, Antoine Brown, Liz, Gail Towner is back there, Natasha Dotson, James Stallings, Claudette. Good to see Claudette and Jean Moore. So yeah, so we got some company back here. So it's kind of hilarious. I've never had this happen before, but it's okay though. It's all good. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it do what it did. All right. So I'm gonna mention a study. There's a study by the Canadian Medical Association Journal, speaking of the impact that social media has on young people. And in this study, they found that social media use is associated with increased feelings of envy, stress, and body image concerns among adolescents. This is partly due to the fear of missing out and the tendency for negative interactions to be more common online than in person. So basically, it sounds to me it's consistent with what you said. And I've actually mentioned this to people. I've said, look, if you find yourself getting jealous of other people or feeling like you're missing out on all the fun or the happiness or whatever, turn that stuff off. If you're following somebody just so you can be mad about what they're doing, turn that off. That's going to open up the devil in you, I think. And it's going to also cause you to miss your blessings. You're going to block your blessings, and you're going to miss your blessings because remember, every morning we do consciousness training, financial consciousness training, and we talk about what the things that you're conscious of and the things that can distract you from being conscious. So to me, you should be conscious of the things that are blessing you, your possibilities, your opportunities. And you should not spend your time being solely conscious of everybody else's blessing, everybody else's opportunity, because that's going to make you dislike your life. What are your thoughts on that? I can tell you personally, I think it affects everybody. I know it even affects me. If I find myself getting too annoyed with what somebody's doing online, I would literally say, "Boys, why are you following this person? Like, turn this off. We're gonna shut this out." What do you think?
Man, I know what you mean. Like, even on TikTok, we're like, how do we get into the TikTok algorithm? Like, I will post something on TikTok and it'll be a picture of an egg carton and it'll get like the most views. And then it'll be like me saying something that I think is so profound and no one watches. So it's like,
TikTok
I
don't
just have
care.
to know. I have to know and believe that I don't need likes. I don't need views. I know I'm putting out solid information in that picture, the video of the eggs. Everybody loved this video that I just threw up there of eggs. So it could be, let's just acknowledge it's a double-edged sword, the internet, right? Because on one hand, you can get up every morning in the confines of your home and do financial consciousness training. So here's the internet doing a bravo job. We love the internet, but at the same time, there's these other side effects of it. And you really do need to start paying attention. You need to start paying attention to how much you're online and getting off. And boys, I'm always telling you, offline stuff. It doesn't have to be online all the time. And it's difficult because look at us. We run our business online. It's really difficult for us. We can't turn it off. We know we have to use it because this is how we can make a good impact with the big masses of individuals, with like-minded individuals. Like we love reaching out to our family. They are family members, really. And so there's something great about it. But this thing where it starts interacting and starts getting into your psyche, that's where we need to pay attention.
Yeah. Well, I personally think that social media is powerful. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just powerful. Anything that's powerful can be helpful or it can be damaging. It's just like when people ask me about debt, when we talk about money or in a money and love topic, people will say, "What do you think about debt?" I'll say, "Debt is powerful. Debt can either make you a millionaire or it can destroy you, can put you in the poorhouse. So anything that's powerful, you have to manage it. You have to think it through. Nuclear power is powerful. It doesn't have a conscience. It's not trying to hurt you, but it's not trying to, but it will hurt you if you don't control it. So social media, same thing. So here is another study. I'm gonna read a couple more studies to you, and then I'd like to get your expert opinion on this, since you're the one who sees clients all day in the areas of mental health. And I think that it's critical to kind of talk about this because mental health is that's one of those touch points that we don't hit enough in our community. Because I don't know, give me a yes or no in the chat if y'all know just how bad the mental health problem is in our community. Give me a yes if you notice this, that in our community, we got a lot of mental health issues that need to be addressed that don't get addressed. And it ends up causing problems and trauma for everybody. So it says here, the research from Yale Medicine indicates that social media algorithms often feed teens more content related to mental health conditions that they search for, which can exacerbate issues like anxiety and depression. The constant exposure to extreme or harmful content can also normalize behaviors like self-harm. So they actually will find your beast and feed it. How about
Mm.
that? Oof.
Oh my
That
God, that's
it,
such an ethical and moral issue. And I mean, we really do need Congress to regulate this type of thing. I know people have been like really upset with how they're coming down on TikTok. TikTok is beautiful because we're seeing things with TikTok, we're seeing war. We're
mm,
having firsthand experience of seeing the travesties of all of the suffering of America, not even just America, but just all over the world. We can now see the suffering all over the world and really get a really nice perspective of it. But at the same time, they're just like doing things that are immoral. Why would you want to affect an entire population of people? And it makes you think like TikTok is not a US based country. And here they are. And we know they're not doing that to their own home country, boys. I know you've talked about that a lot. But this is a really an issue where I do think it needs to be regulated. I'm all for regulation. I'm not one of those crazy libertarians that think everything needs to be deregulated. Like, we need people in place with their sole job is to make sure that these corporations don't just run amok on us and our children unbeknownst to us. Like, it's a direct line to your kids because you got to have a phone. Like, what are we going to do? We're all over the place. We need to have contact with our children when they're not with us. I mean, that's more the norm now. So I think that's just like, we need more whistleblowers. We need more. I love these studies that are being conducted. Hats off to that, just to inform us of the public. And hopefully we can close the loop. So when science starts pointing out what's happening, hopefully Congress can look at the science. This is theoretically how it's supposed to happen. Look at the science and do some macro level changes and regulate these corporations that are really doing harm to the public.
mm.
Yeah.
Everybody, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. If y'all can hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, if you want to know more about what Dr. Alicia does, she sees individuals, couples, and families. You can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. Also, if you are interested in mental health and you'd like to get some resources to help you in your relationship, help you with any psychological challenges that you're working to overcome, help you become your best self, Dr. Alicia has some free resources she can send you. You can text the word love to 87948. Just text love to 87948, and we'll send you some stuff. Now, here's an interesting thing. One other side note, just speaking, since we talk about love and money issues, and I want to, by the way, mention really quickly, hello to everybody who's sitting backstage, Trinae and Cynthia and Dolores and Troy and Antoine. Only 12 people are allowed backstage, though, so y'all were the first 12. And so if you're wondering why it looks different, it's because I sent the wrong link out, but it's okay though. Y'all are welcome to sit back here, and maybe we could try an experiment. Maybe I can bring everybody in real quick and then just see if anybody has something to say.
Put them on the spot, boys.
Yeah, so if you got something to say, I'm gonna try my best to do this in a way that's orderly. I don't know what this is gonna look like, but sometimes when God opens a window, you got to crawl through it. Can I get an amen? Give me an amen. Anyway, yes, Lord. All right, so I'm gonna bring you all up on the stage in a minute. So there'll be a whole bunch of us on stage, and if anybody has something to say, then I'll let you guys go at it. And just think about what you want to say. Make it like a concise comment or a question or something like that, and we can have a little bit of fun with it. But last point I'll make on this is when you talk about letting your kids go online, other aspect of this, as the finance guy, I want to bring this up. There are a lot of scams that are happening online. The number of scams have just gone way, way up. With artificial intelligence, it's only gotten worse. And actually, I'm just reading here on CNN. They said that the FBI estimates that online scams run out of Southeast Asia. Just the ones in Southeast Asia alone took nearly $4 billion from tens of thousands of Americans, which is a 53% increase from the year before.
Mhm.
53% increase. There are countless victims of this massive global criminal operation, predominantly run by Chinese gangs who have built a multi-billion-dollar scam industry using an army of scammers in Southeast Asia, many held against their will in guarded compounds and forced to con people around the world out of their life savings. Woo, Lord. And they said that some of these scams have caused people to take their own lives. They call this pig butchering, which I don't know where that comes from or what that means exactly, but that's another dimension of this, right? I mean, you talk about some of these crimes against children. A lot of these crimes against children are taking place online with
Mhm.
some 45-year-old man pretending to be a 13-year-old, just stuff like that. So it almost sounds like, in addition to regulating what our children are allowed to do, like really limiting screen time and et cetera, you got to do a lot of education and preparation, just kind of let them know what to look out for. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of schools are implementing courses. So our kids took a course on digital. It's called digital imprint or digital something digital awareness. It's a class that they take because they issue out students computers and they have a bunch of sites that are banned on their computers, right? So it's called digital imprint or digital impact, digital footprints. That's the name of the class. It's mandatory now in the technology class. All students take a technology class, at least in our school district, and it teaches them about how to use social media, how to use the internet in a way that's safe. And I like that curriculum. I looked at it. I think it's a wonderful response that our school systems, at least, are having. I think the biggest issue is it's like technology is growing and moving faster than science is able to catch up with it. It's like these studies are coming out 10 years behind. They were like, wait, in the 1990s, this was happening. Year 2000, here's what's happening. We're in 2025. So who knows the impact that's happening right now currently. There's just not enough studies done to measure. There's not a lot of reliable and valid measures to be able to capture everything that's happening. And it's just really tough to keep up with what's going on because right now we're in a very unique age. When you say technology is just taking off, Chat GPT, AI, all of that is just like soaring, and we don't have the capacity to even understand right now how this is having an effect on all of us.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you, it's very it's an interesting world, and I think that when you talk about the haves and the have-nots, it's not just in terms of money; it's really just in terms of awareness and understanding of how the world is changing. I'm really surprised when I meet so many people who don't even know about AI and Chat GPT, don't even know about it. I told my aunt about it, and she said, "What is that?" And that was this weekend, and I was like, "No, it's kind of cool. You should try it out." And so I really encourage all of us to be aware of the changes and keep up with things because the world is changing. Now, what I'm going to do is do the unconventional thing. We're going to do something real crazy right now, babe. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm about to all of y'all that are backstage, Trinae and Karen, Terry and Dolores Rawls and Troy and Antoine. I'm gonna put.
They may not be camera ready, boys.
Well, they're not. None of them are on camera because they didn't even know that they were going to be backstage. But I'm gonna bring them up, and I hope they don't mind me mentioning their names. But they don't have to come on. So let me let you all know, backstage, you don't have to say nothing. If you just want to listen, it is all good. It's totally good. But some of you may have something to say.
Raise your hand.
So I said, you know what? Let's give it a try. Let's see. Let's try bringing them on stage and see if anybody has something to say. And I think you can hit a button to unmute yourself. Let's see here. I think they have to connect a mic or a camera or something. So I don't even know if it's going to work on their phones. But let's try it. I'm just bringing them in. Let's just see, because we got Troy and Antoine and Trinae and Dolores and Karen. Okay, so does anybody have anything to say? If you want to unmute yourself, you can.
I want to say good evening to Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia. My kids following me to listen.
Nice. Now, what is your name, ma'am?
Mommy. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Mommy.
Is that what's your name, ma'am?
My name is Trinae.
Trinae, okay. So Trinae's got a little one in the back. Is that your son or your daughter?
That's my son and my daughter. We listen to you daily.
Wow.
Hello.
Well, hello. Tell your children we said hello, and it's very nice to meet you too.
Hello. Hi, Dr. Boyce. Hi, Dr. Boyce. Hi, Dr. Alicia. Hi, Dr. Lisa.
Hey.
All right,
So
we're going
cute,
back
so
on mute.
cute. Well, thank you for saying hello today.
All right, thank
okay,
you.
Absolutely. All right. So, does anybody else have anything to say? Anybody else who is brought on stage got something to say? Want to say hi? You want to tell us to kiss your butt? Let's see. Let me. You know what? I don't even know. I don't even know if they. I don't know if they can unmute themselves. Like I hit. Oh, let's see. Can't unmute the guest because I chose to mute. Okay. So I'm gonna unmute as many people as I can to see if anybody has something to say.
Hi, Dr. Boyce. Hi, Dr. Alicia. This is Gemma. Like
Hey, Gemma.
Gemma.
How are you, Gemma? And I'm gonna bring Gail on stage. Gail's actually camera ready. Hi, Gemma. How are you?
Good. I love what you're doing. I love it. B1.
Well, we love you too, and B1 to you too. All right, everybody say hi to Gemma. And thank you so much for those kind words. Now, Gail is the only person who came in and was already on camera. Did you know you'd be brought up on the stage, Gail?
No, I did not know that today, but good evening.
Good evening. How are you? Yeah, you know what? The reason that you're here is because when I sent out the link, I don't know if did you get an email with the link?
Yes, I did.
I sent out the link and I made a mistake. I sent everybody the same link I sent my wife.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah, like a lot of people. So suddenly the backstage filled up because the way this app works is that you go backstage and people bring you on stage. And at first I was just gonna let everybody listen from backstage, but then I said, nah, let me bring some people in. Y'all got something to say. So where do you live, Gail?
I am in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, and
okay.
Greetings to both of you. And I listen to the consciousness most mornings, and it's phenomenal. It has given me some additional language for my financial life and financial life of my family. So thank you so much for that. What you were talking about with social media, I did see that announcement today about putting some kind of warning on social media. And I remember I had to turn off social media myself because I'm over 60 and, in that retirement, phase of my life. And I remember some of the things I would look at, it was like building up a fear on the inside of me about retirement. And so some of it was not warranted. And I remember just having to cut it off because when I heard some of the studies saying that it causes anxiety and fear and all that, it was like, it's true, because I felt it myself. And I had to cut it off in order to be able to think about really where I am and then how to move forward without the fear mongering. And it just comes to, it just seemed like it was just a lot of fear mongering in order to get me and or people to move in a direction that other people want us to move in. So it does affect us. So, but thank you for the new language that I've been learning. Like I said, to help to make me even feel better about some of the things that I've been able to do over the years, and remind my kids that they need to do something extra.
Well, thank you very much, Gail, for sharing that perspective. And by the way, what Gail's referring to in terms of the consciousness training is we do financial consciousness training every morning. It's totally free. Anybody wants to join us, just text the word morning to 87948, and I'll send you an invitation. We do this 7 days a week, and the goal is to help you to just be aware of where you are financially, where you want to be, where the money's at, how the money works. Just, and I'm glad you like it, because it was just something I just thought of, around Christmas time. And I said, let me do it instead of doing this once a month or once a week. Let's do this every single day, because I want us to just be the best on earth. I believe that as B1 people, we will lead the world. I know we will lead the world when it comes to economic intelligence and economic execution. We're going to. There's not a question in my mind about it. And to be the best in the world is something you got to practice. So every day we get up and we practice. So, and it's free to anybody that wants to join us. So just text morning to 87948. Or if you live out of the country, you can go to drboyceelevate.com. And that other point that that Gail made, babe, can you speak to that in terms of the And by the way, it's on the screen if you missed what I just said. I see someone's asking, text what again? Yeah, text that word morning to 87948. It's right there on the screen. What about that fear piece? I think I did read a study, Dr. Alicia, that said that fear is the best way to get people to read a news article or to click on something or to even buy a product. What do you think about that fear mongering that's kind of used on social media that can cause additional anxiety?
Yeah, it works. I mean, it not so much that we know it works, but advertisers know it works. And the urgency, the need, if this doesn't happen, you have got to do these steps. And it's almost like there's no other avenue to go down. You're not going to be able to fix it. This is worse than ever. And we know this is an election year. Fear is amped up. Fear is going to get us to the polls, right? So that's what we're used to. I really like what you said about taking a vacation from social media. Just turn it off. Turn it off. And I do our meditation weekends. I spend a lot of time where I just have no social media at all, no phone, nothing. I sit and I just sit with myself and meditate for a while, and I feel so much better. Don't I, boys? I come back.
Yeah.
I am really I have such clarity, and I understand. I have things come to me just by shutting it off. Shut it off for a while.
Yeah, one last point I'll make on this before we bounce out. You and I had planned to make it a short conversation. Now it became a big party. We having a block party. We got all our folks up in here, and I love it. Yesterday, you and I were talking with Freddie Taylor, who runs Urban Intellectuals, and his wife. And we were talking about the trip to Egypt. We're doing that trip to Egypt in August, and I would invite all of y'all, but it's actually sold out. But because you guys are so interested in it, we're gonna offer another one soon. So keep your eyes out for that. But he was talking about they were talking about the poverty, and some of the people that they showed us a picture of some guys that when they were cruising down the Nile, they pulled their boat next to their boat and tethered their boat to their boat. Yeah. And all night long, they were standing out in this little boat selling items to the people on the cruise ship. Yeah, just they would throw the stuff up and you throw the money down. And they did that all night long. They were there all night long. And they told a lot of other amazing stories of just the amount of commitment and hustle that people had to not make a lot of money. They weren't making millions. They were making enough to barely feed the family and stuff. And I said, it's crazy to me that you have people around the world that have to go through unimaginable amounts of effort just to get a little bit. But yet in this country, we have opportunities to really, if you hustle and get up and work hard every day, you can become a millionaire or at least be well off, and be in very good shape. That's out there for you. But there's a lot of people who won't even do that. And I almost feel like social media plays a part in that. Because if I'm 21 and I see another 21-year-old who's driving a Lamborghini who ain't done nothing to do that, and he's sitting around and just, smoking weed and hanging out and everything and playing video games, then I'm going to think, okay, this is the standard that I'm going to set for myself. I don't really all that hustling and working hard and sacrificing for a decade and all that. I don't want to do that. I expect to have it all tomorrow. And I think that's another detrimental part of social media. It can make us just freaking lazy. What do y'all think?
Yeah, let me just say something. Yeah, the story about the fishing, how they would throw the fishing net out and they would bring it back in, all this work and no fish. They're working for hours trying to fish. They're getting nothing. So probably no one's eating at this point. And I mean, you kind of think like, okay, so that's how you've been operating since you were little. Just think about what happens if they come here from another country and they see opportunity everywhere. I think that's why a lot of immigrants, because of that sort of mindset and that sort of struggle that they come from, the ones that come from big time struggle, that's why they come here and they're so successful, because they're like, wait, I see opportunity where it would just, I wouldn't even notice. I would not notice any of the opportunities that a keen eye would notice because they come from so much struggle. I'm not struggling like that every day.
Sounds like financial awareness. It sounds like that's an awareness exercise. Yeah, I think that part of awareness is being aware of the blessings that you have and not being distracted by other people's blessings or just really getting to the, making sure that you understand you've got opportunity around you, and I know that because sometimes I think that we get so distracted with conversations about how hard things are, for us as Black people, that we forget that there's still some opportunities out there. It's mindset, right? So long story short, I think that we can all agree that social media is something that has to be managed and regulated. I would
Yes.
encourage people to make sure that social media is working for you. Don't let it work you, because they did design it. Zuckerberg and all those people, they designed social media to use you as a commodity. They designed it to be addictive. They use all of the standard tricks for addiction, the Pavlovian responses with the dings and the beeps and feeding you with the algorithm. All that's built on, the cutting edge psychology to keep you addicted and to manipulate you. Don't let them manipulate you.
Yeah, the killing part about it is that you ask Zuckerberg and all these other people, they're like, oh, you have small children. Do you let them online? And they look at you like, no, I would never let my children use my platform. The platform that I developed, I would never in a million years let my children have access to all of the things. I mean, what do they know? What do they know that they're sitting there like surprised that you would gasp, that you would even ask the question, oh, do my children have Instagram account? No. My children have Facebook? No, I wouldn't even allow. So they don't even allow their own kids to have access to it, but they want your children to have access to it. I mean, that just tells you. And I mean, even the thing with poverty in America is poor people have a microwave. Poor people have running water here. Poor people have a debit card. Like, I mean, like, that's not poverty. Like, we don't know what poverty really is here. And so yeah, it just depends on what does it mean to be poor. So I'll just make that comment.
Gail, did you have?
Yes, may I? I had the privilege to go to Kenya some years ago on a ministry assignment. And we went to the second largest slum in Kenya. And so it was on purpose. It was Kingami. But what I saw was, when you talk about poverty, is like people living in places that are as big as your closet. But this is what I thought was phenomenal. This is what I think is phenomenal about Black people in general. It's like we're so resourceful. Because even when we were driving down the street in a van, it was a group of us, there was entrepreneurship happening on both sides of the street. Now, I don't know what they were selling, because we did not get out of the van, but they were selling something. And so I think about the resourcefulness of Black folk in general, and that's why we're still here. And that's why I appreciate what you do and what you bring, because it's reminding us of our resourcefulness. I'm a real estate broker by trade. I'm in the real estate business. And years ago, it was Black folk couldn't buy houses, but somehow we bought them anyway. We figured out a way to do it, a way to get engaged in different fields. So Black folk are just resourceful. That's why I like the B1 is like phenomenal. But I just see the poverty that exists in other nations. Now, mind you, Kenya is not poor. Everything is not poor. It's just we went there specifically. So I think also there's this misleading narrative that the continent of Africa is impoverished. The whole thing is not impoverished. If it were, you wouldn't have so many people going there and making their fortunes there. So it's not impoverished like that. But there are certain areas, of course, that are. And I've seen places where, the sewage is outside. We had in the old days, my grandmother had like an outhouse. And so I don't know if people know what that is, but it was outside and it was a hole in the ground, right? And so when we went there, we had to go to holes in the ground. It was amazing. It's like, oh my gosh, this is taking me way back to when I was a little kid. But they are there. And they're surviving, and they set up groups to support each other with businesses and stuff. It's like, it's amazing. So that's what I would have to add to that.
Yeah. And I think that it's, so attitude is really everything, and I think that that's one damaging thing social media can do, is it can disrupt your attitude to the point where you could have $1 million in the bank and still feel like you're not doing well because you're comparing yourself to somebody who's got 5 million. And I think that's where that FOMO kicks in, and constantly comparing. I would tell anybody, if you find yourself feeling that way, turn it off. Just turn it off. because jealousy and envy, those are not healthy emotions for you. Those do not make you appealing to any other people, and it brings out the worst in you, not the best in you. So let's just be our best. And so I want to say thank you to everybody who hung out with us and tolerated us, and also our special guests who came in from backstage, Miss Gail, and I see Cynthia Harper back there, Karen Terry, James Stallings, Dolores Rawls, Janma, Natasha, and Antoine. Those y'all the ones who came in, and Troy. I didn't mention Troy Williams III. And also everybody who's listening, I want everybody to know, if you want to go and see what Dr. Alicia does, she is a very good therapist, and she sees clients on an individual basis, couples as well as families. You can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. If you start a family investment club or a business together, getting a group therapist can help you to resolve conflicts and to get along, so you can make sure that your business stays strong. And then also, I hope you all will consider joining us at the All Black National Convention. That's going to be October 25th through the 27th. We are revving up for that. It's going to be in Lombard, Illinois, right outside Chicago at the Westin Hotel. We have already lined up Brother Nuri Muhammad as one of our keynotes. Lamar Tyler, the Black millionaire maker. He didn't name himself that. I call him that because he's got a tribe of dozens of Black millionaires that he built just because he's that smart. And lots of other amazing people. Dr. Alicia, of course, will be there. And what we do at the convention is we bring together positive-minded people who want what's best for our families. So if you believe in Black love and family, and that Black men and women should love each other, then the convention is for you. If you believe that Black people should be wealthy and prosperous and successful and financially secure, then the convention is for you. If you believe that Black people should be mentally and physically healthy, the All Black National Convention is for you. So feel free to learn more by visiting allblacknationalconvention.com. So thank you all very, very much. God bless all of you. And I hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.